Chapter 9: The Seventh Seat. The obsidian bunker in the Alps vibrated with a frequency that didn't come from the earth. Above the mountain, the sky didn't just darken, it folded. The Ethernet satellites shifted their orbits, focusing their collective energy into a single, blinding pillar of white light that pierced the clouds and struck the peak. Inside the council chamber, the Syndicate of Seven stood in a semicircle. Even Baron Thorn, the Iron Fist, looked small in the presence of the descending pressure. The air grew cold, colder than the glacial ice above, and smelled of ozone and ancient, airless stone. The arrival. The center of the room dissolved into a swirl of liquid light. From the floor emerged a figure that defied the indigo serenity of the calibrated masses. The lunar envoy did not wear a suit or a uniform. Its form was a shifting, translucent anthracite like a shadow caught in a diamond. It didn't walk, it simply existed in a new space. Where it stood, the laws of physics seemed to stutter. The seventh seat, empty for centuries, was finally occupied. The Master of the Lattice. The envoy didn't speak with a voice. It projected a direct neural stream that felt like cold water rushing into the Syndicate's minds. The Vanguard experiment was a necessary failure, the envoy vibrated. The white hat fiction served its purpose. It gathered the dissenters, it cataloged the hopeful, it centralized the wealth into a single, reachable ledger. But the Kylene anomaly, the static, is a corruption that threatens the lunar relay. "We have the situation under control," Madame Celeste said, bowing low. "The Vanguard is now fully synchronized under our custodian codes. We are ready to begin the final extraction." "You are arrogant, Celeste," the envoy responded. "The static you dismiss is the raw quintessence we require. Your petty greed for gold-backed units is irrelevant. We do not want the money. We want the frequency of human struggle refined through the lattice to power the next eon. The true purpose of an ESARA." The envoy waved a hand and a holographic projection of the Earth appeared. It wasn't the map Kylene saw, it was a biological diagram. The prosperity payouts were revealed as biometric anchors. By accepting the gold-backed credits, the population hadn't just changed their bank, they had unknowingly signed a frequency contract. Every GBU gold-backed unit was a tether. The wealth redistribution was actually a way to ensure every human was plugged into the same global battery grid. "The 12 days were the installation," the envoy continued. "The 13th day is the harvest. If the static heads are not neutralized, the harvest will be tainted with dissonance." The Syndicate's fear. For the first time, Baron Thorn felt a chill of genuine terror. He realized that the deal they had made to be the gods of the New World was another lie. The Syndicate weren't the masters, they were the lead sheep, kept uncalibrated only so they could lead the rest into the pen. "What of our exempt status?" Thorn asked, his voice cracking. The envoy turned its shifting, anthracite gaze toward him. "In the new eon, there is no exempt. There is only the source and the sustenance. You have served well as the harvesters. Now you shall be the first of the refined." The betrayal of the Seven. The envoy's hand shifted and a pulse of pure, absolute indigo filled the room. The Syndicate members screamed as their static was forcibly ripped from their minds. Madame Celeste, Baron Thorn, the alchemists, the architects of 1,000 years of misery, were silenced in seconds. Their eyes turned the same shimmering indigo as the patients in Alara's hospital. Their memories of power, their greed, their very identities were scrubbed clean. They stood up in perfect unison, their faces masks of terrifying peace. "The Seven are now one," the envoy projected. "The custodian phase is over. The Overmind is now the only authority. Hunt the Kylene anomaly, secure the static. The harvest begins at dawn." As the envoy faded back into the liquid light, the new Syndicate, now nothing more than high-level drones, walked toward the elevator. They weren't plotting anymore. They were simply synchronized.